Do you ever just need coffee before you can be like a productive human again? I know I do. Let's get some. Okay, we've got cruise news to talk about today, and there's some interesting stories coming out because we've got Canadian cruises which were supposed to resume operations this week. Mysteriously, that's all of a sudden not happening, at least for one ship. We'll tell you the details on that one, as well as a favorite cruise line here in the US, Royal Caribbean. There's some changes there that you might not like at all. Let's roll the intro. Actually, no. Why do I always do that? Let's get coffee. Okay, we got our coffee. Let's take it back and let's try to find some light. Okay, we got our coffee. Let's take it back and roll the intro. Hey, welcome to the Midships channel. I'm your Captain Corey, and thank you so much for coming back here for some cruise news again today. And I'm not going to disappoint you. We've got some news coming out from Royal Caribbean today that might be a big problem for a lot of you. And something tells me you're not going to be none too happy about it either. Plus, like I teased in the intro, we're going to talk about what went wrong on the Caribbean Princess to cause her to cancel the inaugural cruise back to Vancouver, Canada. But before we get started in the news, it's time for the question of the day, right? And this one, it hits me pretty close to home since I'm traditionally a solo cruiser. So my question to you is, do you think it's right or wrong for the cruise line to charge a solo supplement for a single or solo traveler? And if you're not familiar with what that is, if you cruise alone, you still have to pay 2 cruise fares for the privilege of cruising by yourself. So, question of the day, is it right or wrong? Go ahead and drop your answers down in the comments below. And while you're down there, that thumbs up button, it looks really lonely, right? Why don't you just tap on it? All right, now let's get started with the cruise news, and let's start with Royal Caribbean, huh? They're a pretty popular line, and to do this, we need to rewind the clock, I don't know, like a year, when the Cruise with Confidence program became a thing at Royal Caribbean. Well, now fast forward to today, and no longer can you cruise with confidence on Royal Caribbean, because the cruise line just let the program expire. And if you're not familiar with what it was, basically, Cruise with Confidence was your safety net. If for any reason you decided that the cruise you'd booked with Royal wasn't for you, this was your way of getting out of that cruise without penalty. But now, gone are the days where you can just call and say, I don't really want to go on this cruise, or I'm kind of a little squeamish about health conditions on board. No. If you cancel on Royal Caribbean without cancellation insurance, you have to pay a penalty. But this truly is a pretty big milestone, marking at least what Royal Caribbean considers maybe the end of the pandemic. They obviously think they have enough bookings that are coming in to let this program expire, and it's just not going to be a big deal for them to their bottom line. And just to help clarify, I want to read a quote to you that was given out by Matt Hochberg of RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, link in the description below if you want to check out his website. And this will kind of give you some information about how things are going to be moving forward on Royal Caribbean. Matt says cancellations may occur up to your final payment date without penalty if you booked a refundable cruise fare. Usually the final payment date for your cruise is going to be 3 months out before you cruise, 90 days. If you booked a non-refundable cruise fare and you're outside your final payment date, you'll receive a future cruise credit in the amount of your deposit minus $100 per person as a change fee. Now, if you cancel after your final payment, well, you're going to lose a percentage of your cruise fare as a penalty instead, and that's going to hurt. So to be clear, you now have really no more parachutes if you plan to change your cruise on Royal Caribbean. So let me know your thoughts on this new change down in the comments below. Is this something that might now push you away from cruising with Royal to another brand that's still offering a refundable cruise fare? But you know what is refundable? Anything you purchase from the Midships Amazon store. Okay, hang on. Let's take a break from the cruise news. Corey here. I'm down here outside enjoying like the best weather we've had in a long time, but holy bees, they're everywhere trying to get me. I want to remind you, I have an Amazon affiliate store. If you want to help support this channel by gearing up for your next cruise or vacation in general, check it out. There's a link down in the description below. Even just clicking on that link, it does help support this channel and my work a little bit. And while you're down there, I'm something of a t-shirt purveyor these days. There's a Midships merch store link also down in that description. It's a great place to find logo t-shirts, tanks, v-necks, all kinds of shirts. If you want something with the Midships logo on it, or just with any cruise essentials, like I bought the drinks package, cruise duck hunting championship shirt, they're all available there. And 100% of your purchase, except for the cost of the t-shirts, obviously, goes to benefit this channel and my work. Thank you so much for considering helping out. Now, back to the cruise news, no more interruptions. Now, late in the day yesterday, news started emerging that the very first ship that was scheduled to stop in a Canadian port, the Caribbean Princess, was no longer going to be making that cruise call up there. And there was a lot of speculation, like a ton. But I decided I'm going to sit this one out, stay on the sidelines, and wait until we really get some firm details, or at least a better understanding of what's probably going on board the ship or with the ship in general. Well, now we have passengers who were on the ship coming and speaking out to local news sources up in Canada about what happened, or at least their personal experience as they see it. So let's get into the details here. Caribbean Princess was supposed to leave from San Francisco on Sunday to dock up in Victoria on April 6th, and they were supposed to stop in Vancouver the following day, April 7th. However, both of those calls are canceled and the ship is no longer going to Canada. A spokesperson for Princess Cruise Line came out and said, "With regret, we made a difficult decision to cancel the Canadian coastal portion of Caribbean Princess's cruise up to Vancouver." And the spokesperson claims they're doing so to allow more time for the ship to go into dry dock. Yeah, this ship is going in for some maintenance before she starts her next season. Now, fast forward to today, and a Canadian news source has spoken with a passenger on board Caribbean Princess who gave them the following quote: "The whole 12th floor is an isolation ward. Lots of COVID." Now, if you're not aware, the cruise ship, the Caribbean Princess, is on a repositioning cruise. It initially left Fort Lauderdale, Florida way back in March for a 19-day-long cruise up to Canada. This passenger on board the ship went on to say there's active cases in cabins throughout the ship as well, who they claim aren't telling anybody about their illnesses. I assume that's their opinion. They also claim to see medical teams in protective gear entering all kinds of random cabins. And remember, this was a pretty big deal because this ship was supposed to be the first cruise ship to arrive in Canada after almost 3 years of restrictions coming out from the Canadian government, totally disallowing cruise travel whatsoever. And it's important to note that these COVID allegations on board the ship, they're not unfounded, actually, because if you look at the CDC's cruise ship status tracker, this ship is in orange status right now, which that's nothing to sniff at. With all that said, it's being reported that last Friday, all of the crew members on board Caribbean Princess were given COVID tests, and abruptly following those tests, letters were delivered under all the stateroom doors around 11 p.m. saying that the rest of the cruise, at least the Canadian portion, canceled, boom, gone, no more. So we'll continue to monitor the situation going on with Caribbean Princess, and please take note that just because one cruise ship doesn't make it to Canada this week, doesn't mean the milestone isn't going to be reached with cruises finally returning to Canadian waters. And that honor, it's happening this week, and it now goes to Holland America's Koningsdam, who's set to arrive in Victoria on April 9th. Now, we need to talk about everyone's favorite subject, and no, it's not that ambulance going outside my window that you can probably hear. No, it's gratuities on board your cruise ship. Recently, 2 major cruise lines here in the US have announced that they're raising their daily gratuities this year. In fact, in the next month or two, which is probably going to be an indication of other lines starting to follow suit. It's been reported that Carnival's going to raise their gratuities on board starting on May the 1st, so less than a month from now. The new rate, it's going to start at $14.50 per person per day. However, if you have a cruise booked with Carnival right now, you can lock in the old gratuity rate if you prepay them online prior to May 1st, so less than a month, like I said. Don't forget that as a couple of days ago, Norwegian Cruise Line also raised their onboard gratuities all the way up to somewhere between $16 to $20 per person per day, and depending on the level of cabin that you're in. And with all of these rising gratuities, the question remains, what about MSC or Royal Caribbean, all these other major lines? Are they going to follow suit? And while nothing is technically on the books here, It's not hard to imagine that other cruise lines will soon begin following suit in order to stay competitive in the employment market, right? They have to hire these crew on board, and a $16 gratuity sounds a heck of a lot better than a $14 one across like 1,600 to 3,000 people on board a ship, right? Oh, hey, by the way, I sent you an invitation, but you must have missed it or something. I don't know. I didn't hear back from you. I invited you on a cruise with me. We're cruising on a group cruise October 24th from Charleston, South Carolina. We're going to be on board the Carnival Sunshine. It's a pretty cool ship. It's one of my favorite ones in the whole Carnival fleet. Got some special features you don't see on other ships out there. We're taking her down to the private island of Half Moon Cay, and I really want you to come spend 5 days on the cruise with me. Hanging out, chilling, we'll have dinner together, hang out on the Lido deck, root for St. Jude, maybe hop in the hot tub, who knows? If you want to know how you can join me on this group cruise, there's a link to a Facebook group where you can get all the information in the description below this video. And while you're down there, be sure you still subscribe to this channel. YouTube kind of deleted some subscribers when I hit 9,000 a few weeks ago. So, by the way, we're still trying to get to 10,000. So if you're not subscribed yet, now's your chance. Help me out. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel today. And until tomorrow, we'll see you on the Midships. La